There is a philosophical worldview called physicalism. It argues that absolutely everything in existence is made of physical matter. Under this framework, every human emotion, thought, and conscious experience is the result of atoms, electricity, and chemistry interacting in the brain. To test the limits of this idea, the philosopher Frank Jackson proposed a thought experiment. Imagine a scientist named Mary who has spent her entire life confined to a strictly controlled room. Her environment is painted exclusively in black, white, and shades of gray. She has never seen a single color. Mary is a world-class neuroscientist specializing in human color vision. As this diagram shows, she understands exactly how light stimulates the retina and how specific wavelengths translate into neural signals. She can track the physics of a sunset or the chemistry of a red rose down to the individual neuron. She possesses every physical fact currently known about how humans see. Yet, because of her confinement, the actual experience of color remains a void in her life. If physicalism is a complete theory, if the universe contains nothing but physical facts, then Mary's exhaustive data should mean there is nothing left for her to discover about color. Under this view, her scientific knowledge is already total. Then Mary is released. She steps out of her room, and for the very first time, she sees an apple that is vividly red. In this moment, she encounters qualia. This is the subjective, intrinsic character of an experience, the internal sensation of what it is like to perceive the color red. The experiment hinges on one question. Did Mary learn anything new when she saw that apple? Frank Jackson argues that the answer is yes. Before her release, Mary had all the physical data, but upon seeing the apple, she gained a new piece of information about the world that her textbooks could not provide. If Mary learns something by seeing red, it follows that her previous physical knowledge was incomplete. For Jackson, the conclusion is straightforward. If knowing every physical fact does not equal knowing everything, then non-physical facts must exist. If this is true, physicalism fails to describe the whole of reality, suggesting instead that the universe contains non-physical properties that science alone cannot reach. Physicalists respond by challenging Jackson's definition of knowledge. They argue he assumes Mary learned a new propositional fact. As this thought bubble illustrates, propositional knowledge is theoretical data. It is knowing that something is true, like the fact that Paris is the capital of France. To defend the physicalist view, philosopher David Lewis proposed the ability hypothesis. Lewis differentiates between knowing that and knowing how. He argues she didn't discover a new fact, she simply acquired a new practical skill. Seeing red gave her the cognitive ability to remember, imagine, and recognize the color, a practical upgrade, not a factual one. Patricia Churchland offers a different rebuttal called the acquaintance hypothesis. She argues there is a difference between knowing a scientific description of an experience and having a direct first-person familiarity with it. Mary was already aware of the physics. Seeing the apple simply acquainted her with the stimulus. Both hypotheses attempt to save physicalism by reclassifying Mary's experience. They suggest that while Mary gained a new way to interact with the world, the actual factual inventory of the universe remained exactly the same. Michael Tai offers a final defense with the new knowledge, old fact objection. Tai suggests Mary interacts with the exact same physical reality she studied in isolation, just forming a new phenomenal concept. One physical reality can be understood through multiple concepts. Explaining her new perspective as new data processing avoids assuming non-physical properties exist. This leaves the philosophical debate open. Did Mary learn a new truth about the nature of the universe, or did she simply gain a new way to experience a world that is entirely physical? The answer determines whether science can one day explain everything, or if the feel of life will always remain beyond its reach.